Today we're going to show you how to create your gradebook in Google Spreadsheet. So in Google Docs you click Create New and choose Spreadsheet. It says Unsaved Spreadsheet, so you'll need to click there and you'll need to enter in your period, last name, first name, and the title of this document, which we're going to simply call Grades. Once you've done that, you'll see the correct title up here at the top. And notice this top row is frozen. You can tell it's frozen because it has this gray bar across here. So I'm going to hover till I get my hand tool here, and I'm going to click on the mouse and I'm going to drag that up because we don't need this top row frozen. Then I'm going to type in my information that I need here. So we're going to title this quarter 1. We're going to type that in cell A1. Then we move down to cell A2, we type in period, and we move to cell B2, type in class, move to cell C2, and we're going to call that week 1. And then we're going to skip a column and move over to cell E2 and title that week 2. Now, if you recall from our previous lessons that in order to go in sequence, if I just selected week 2 and I copied over, it's just going to title that week 2. Well, I don't want that. I want it to go in sequence. So I need to select week 1 and week 2. So I'm going to select all 4 of these cells here, and it's going to then sense that I want it to go. So I'm going to drag all the way to the end of my spreadsheet and I'm going to let go. And you'll notice it goes all the way to week 9. However, we have 10 weeks in this semester and we also need to have a totals column. So I'm going to click up here where it says T, and I'm going to right click and say Insert One Right. And since we're going to need a couple of these, I'm going to do that a couple more times. So then I'm going to scroll over to the right, and again, because I wanted to go in sequence, I'm going to have to select week 8 and 9, hover till I get the black cross, and drag it over. Now I have week 10. And then in cell W2, I can type in totals. Once I have that selected, I need to shrink everything down. So I'm going to start up in the top header row, and I'm going to select all the way from week 10 to week 1. And I'm going to hover till I get the double-headed arrow here at the top of the column, and I'm going to shrink that down. That way everything's shrunk down nice and small. I can shrink down total, I can shrink down period, class we can leave about that same length. The next step is to merge across. So we're going to take this where it says quarter 1, and we're going to select all the way across that row from one end to the other. Then I'm going to click Edit, Merge Cells, and merge horizontally since we're merging across the horizontal. And notice how I have one giant cell there now. And I'm going to align that in the center. Now, in fact, we're going to want everything in the center, so I might as well just click up here in the upper left-hand corner. That selects everything in the sheet, and then I can choose Align and Center. That way, all the text in all the cells are centered. Makes it a little easier to read. I'm also needing to merge the cells for the week. So I'm going to select week 1 and the blank cell next to it, Edit, Merge Cell, Merge Horizontally. I'm going to repeat that process with each one of these. Once I have all the weeks merged, now you'll notice I have 2 columns underneath each week, and we're going to want that. What I'm going to want to do is to highlight this. So I'm going to select the top 2 rows, and I'm going to want to bring some emphasis to it. So in this case, I'm going to choose bold, And I'm going to change my text color to white and my background color to black. Notice how that kind of brings everything out really nicely. Then I need to type in periods. So period 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need to choose GPA. We're going to skip a line between the 8th period and the very end, and we're going to just type in GPA. All right. We'll want to bring some emphasis to that row as well. So we're going to highlight across that row and choose a background text, not a text color, choose a background color. We're going to choose yellow. And same thing with the totals column, bringing emphasis to that by choosing a background color, not a text color, but choose a background color. Notice how the text color shows the picture of the font with the color underneath it. The background color, notice how it shows a background to the font. And I'm going to choose that. So now we have emphasis for our totals, and this is our GPA for the week. Once you've entered in your classes, then you'll need to start entering in your grades. I've entered in some sample grades here, and we're going to need to calculate an average. So I'm going to select here in GPA, and I'm going to select underneath the numbers. So that I'm going to be in cell D12 here. I'm going to go to functions, and I'm going to choose average, and it'll ask me average of what, and I will select those cells and I'll hit enter. Now it calculates the average. So now when I click here, if you'll notice up here in the function bar, it shows me my formula. So now I'm going to want to copy this formula all the way across, and what I want the cell underneath the letter grades to be blank, and the cell underneath the numerical value of the letter grades to have the formula in it. So I need to copy both cells. So I'm going to select both cells, and I'm going to hover till I get the black cross, and I'm going to just drag that down, and now it puts in the formula. Notice even though it says there's an error when I hover over it, up here in the function bar it shows that I have the correct formula. That's okay. The reason why it says there's an error is because this here is blank. As soon as you enter in numerical values here, it will calculate your average here. Then you need to calculate your weekly, your total of all the weeks, your average for the total for each individual class. This is just your weekly average GPA, but now you need to know your total grade for each class. So I'm going to select total over here for PE, and I want to tell it to average the grades all the way across. So I'm going to again select functions, average, and I'm just going to select all the way across and hit that, and it gives me an average of 1. Now I need to copy that formula down. So I select the cell, hover till I get the black cross, copy that all the way down to to W10. Now I need to get the average for my total grades to get my total GPA. So one more time, average, select down, hit enter, and now I have my average GPA. So now that I have my formulas and everything in here, I can select in one corner of the table all the way diagonally opposite to the other corner. It doesn't matter which corner I go to, just so I select the whole thing. And I'm going to press Control C. I'm going to hold down the Control button and press C. I'm going to skip a row. I'm going to go down here to A14. I'm going to hold down Control and press V. It will copy it down. I'm going to repeat that process 2 more times. So I have a total of 4 tables. Now right now they're all labeled quarter 1. Well, I only need one quarter 1, so I'm going to need to rename this. So I'm going to double click in where it says quarter 1 in the second table. I'm going to click up here in my function bar, backspace, and change that to quarter 2. I'm going to repeat the process with the third one, and guess what that's going to be called? You're right, quarter 3. Repeat the process one more time with quarter 4, and then we have all 4 quarters. Now you have a Google spreadsheet to track your weekly scores in, and we'll work more later on tracking individual grades.